Hello, my name is Jai'Dean Airall, and I am a part of the Centennial Game Development Program. Welcome to the first video in a two-part series on how to make a two-player character select system. So I want you to start out by making a new blank Unity project, right? So in my project, I already have the sprites I'm going to use, I have the prefabs I'm going to use, and I already have the scenes created. I have one scene called character select and one scene called gameplay. For now, we're going to be working on the character select scene. So what I want you to do is make a canvas. Always make a canvas first, whenever you're doing anything that has to do with menus. Alright, and on that canvas, you're gonna make sure you scale with screen size, and I'm gonna use 1920 by 1080. Alright. Now on that canvas, let's make an image. A UI image. Now you're gonna stretch it, hold Alt, and stretch. So I want my image to be black. You can make whatever color you want, but I'm just gonna make it black. And we're gonna name the image background.
Okay, so now on the canvas, you're gonna make an image. And I'm gonna call this one portrait. Now on this image, you're gonna drag in whatever you want your portrait to be. So this is the character that's gonna pop up when you hit your button. So I'm gonna pick Naruto, set native size, and drag him off into the corner. Make it 600, negative 600. Work at even numbers. Now, duplicate, Control D, and change it to positive 600. And if you want to have it mirrored, just add a -1, so now they're both mirrored to each other. Now I'm going to rename this one to portrait P1, because this is going to be the portrait for player 1, and call this one portrait P2. Alright, now under this one, create a UI text object. Let's move it to the side. Import text mesh transactions as well. Now you can edit it however you want. I'm just going to make it blank, make it bold, around 50 font, and center it. And I'm just going to leave it right about here. So 320, and just like the other, you're going to duplicate. And I messed up. I should have put it to -320 before I moved. Oh, okay. Never mind. My bad. It's going to duplicate the portrait itself. Delete. And move it to 600. Now make the text -320. There we go. Get rid of this window and rename this back to P2. Alright. Now I want you to make an empty game object. I'm just gonna call this button holder from player 1. Now create a UI button. Delete the text. It will be immediate. And resize. I'm gonna do 100 by 100. Now name the button and drag whatever icon you want onto the button. Alright. Now I already did this, so I already know the values I want. I want this one to be -50. duplicate the button. This one's going to be Miles. And this one's just going to be double positives. And drag in your next icon. Again, duplicate. This one's going to be Ichigo. And -50. Drag in your icon. Duplicate one last time, and this one's going to be Goku. And drag in your icon and make it -50. There we go. And because it's in this folder, now we could just drag this anywhere we want, but I'm not gonna mess with the position right now. Next, let's make our script to actually get all the logic working. So first, make a folder called script. And for this, we're gonna be making scriptable objects. So make a script called character SO. Let's just make it a scriptable object. You do this by creating an asset menu. Alright, so this will be the file's name. I'm gonna name it characters. And this is the name that's gonna pop up when you're creating it. Alright, now change it from mono behavior to scriptable object. Now we're gonna make the 4 public variables. First, you're gonna make a public string called name, then a public int called ID, and 2 public sprites. Hit save, and we head back to Unity. Gonna create a folder called scriptable objects. And in that folder, you're gonna start creating 4 scriptable objects, or for however many characters you want. Name him Naruto. ID number 0, he'll be the first one. His icon will be this, and his portrait will be this. Okay, so while I was doing this, I realized I didn't need any variable for icons, so I got rid of that in the code. You can just see it here, it is. I just got rid of the icon line. You don't need it because we already set up the icons in the scene. So now I have 4 scriptable objects, each valued from their order. So Naruto is 0, Miles is 1, Ichigo is 2, and Goku is 3. Now, let's go back into our scripts folder and create a new script called character selector. Okay, so in this script, we're not going to need the void update or the void start. And we're going to need to use some new using statements. So using Unity engine .ui and using Unity engine.cunit. Alright, so now you're gonna make a private string called scene name, and I'm gonna call that gameplay. This is the scene you're gonna be transitioning to, so you should call this whatever you named your scene. And then a public text mesh pro. Oh, my bad, we also needed TM pro, a using statement called TM pro. Unity was kind enough to make that for me. And I'm gonna call the first one character name for player 1, and then character name for player 2. Now we're gonna have a third public image, and I'm gonna call this portrait 1. 2, then a public string called character UI name, or UI character name player 1. And a public string for the character UI name player 2. And lastly, 2 public game objects. I'm going to call this portrait geo player 1 and portrait geo for player 2. Now make a public void awake. Okay. Geo player 1 dot set active equals false. So this is just going to be turning off the portrait from when the game starts. Until you click on it, it shouldn't be on. Now we're going to make a public function called update UI player 1. And in this function, we're going to have a call to our character SO. And I'm going to name it character scriptable object for player 1. So to start this off, I'm going to turn my portrait on. So portrait.setActive is true. And then I'm going to change the sprite of my portrait. So portrait.sprite equals, use the variable name, this variable's name, portrait. So this is basically changing what image is going to be popping up every time you hit the button. So you're getting the sprite component of the portrait image. And then we're also going to update the UI name, the character name in UI. So name. So the UI text will equal the scriptable object's name. And then character name.text equals so this will be is the line that will change the text in the UI. So the string will now equal the scriptable object, what it says in the scriptable object, and then this will change the text so we could actually see it. Now, to save the character you selected, we're going to be using player prefs. So player prefs dot set int. I'm going to call it player 1 selected character. And then call the scriptable object ID number. So then the int we set is the ID number in the scriptable object. Alright, now we're going to copy this function and paste. And simply turn all the 1s to 2s.
Alright, and finally, we're going to make another function. Call it next scene. And I'm just going to say scene manager dot load scene equals scene name load scene mode single. So this is what we're going to use to load the scene. We're going to have a button in the scene that we're just going to drag this function on. This will be all for this first video. I don't want to make it too long, so I will post a second video on the finished product soon. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.